Hello everyone, 17th April 2021. Just a quick update. We'll have a look at our two hives and see are they ready for more expansion. Hive number one. The weather is terrible cold for this time of the year, 17th of April. It's just a bit of a disaster. It's still frosty nights. And the weather during the day is not reaching normal temperatures. 12-13 degrees is disaster anyway. See what we have. Now brood hatching out. This side brood is hatching out. It's just small bit of nectar there. The frame I put on last time, actually there's a queen cell here. See if there's an egg in it. No, there's no egg inside the queen cell, which is good. No eggs on that frame. It's not completed yet. There's large larvae and they start to cap the larvae on that frame, so it's grand. This one is fine, and still large amount of bees. So what we do this time, I just checked it before last frame on the other side. Yeah, there's eggs in there. Oh, there's actual queen. Queen there, there we go. Nice fat baby. So seems to me this hive is a bit light on food. So I just give them double portion. This frame is actually heavy with the food, but I think that's the only one heavy frame in this hive. Actually look a bit light, so I just give them a little bit extra, not much now, just double portion. Again I put another frame here, second last. I took one dummy board out, there's room for the second one still, so I put another frame in here. This one is in here. Right, so that's it for the moment. That's enough for them. Feeder back on. Bit windy and it's cold wind. It could be a frost again tonight. Job done. Hive number two. Very cold. Bees are not happy at all. Pulling out the dummy board. Don't want to disturb them. It's a bit windy and it's cold wind, very cold. Completely finished and full of larvae. Absolutely brilliant frame. These are doing very well. There's actually about 2 days, 1 day and eggs in here. All that. Now there's a couple of cups here. We check them now. That's a queen cups. When they getting swarmy, they build in those cups and queen is putting egg in it. Hope you can see it. Now check. No, there's no egg No eggs inside there, so it's good. They're not going to swarm just yet, but they definitely ready for expansion. Just want to pull out a second, do my board. That will be that whole brood box. Then not very happy bees. I'm sure it's about 8 or 9 degrees here now, I think. Definitely not more than that. So that's the last 11th frame. That's it. It fits 11 frame. I go and put small bit of syrup later on. Job done. April 2021. It was a nice sunny day today. It's getting late, it's about 6 o'clock there now. Bees were flying. It's one of the best days in the last 2 weeks. And what are we doing here? We are rising to our colonies. First of all, I go and give you some theory. Before we open those hives, we go and do full inspection both colonies. And I go and explain you what we're doing, and the most important, why we're doing this. So we back to theory. Say, just for example, if your colony, say 2 kilo weight, which is about 20,000 of bees, 2 kilos. If it's good weather, everything is perfect. Just for instance, your colony can bring you around 2 kilos of honey. If we have colony weight of which is 4 kilos, this colony gonna bring you not the same amount, not 4 kilos, gonna bring you 6 kilos of honey. And if you raise a colony, the weight of the colony is 6 kilos, it's gonna bring you 15 kilos of honey. Those figures are not accurate, just to give you the point, just to give you an idea. Amount of honey can be brought into your hive depends on the weight of the amount of bees, on the weight of your colony. Small weak colony won't bring you any honey. They barely can bring it to consume themselves. Then an average colony bring you some honey, so you at the end of the year you can get some honey. But the strong colony will bring you a lot of honey, so we'll have at the end of the year big crop of honey. Those figures just not accurate, don't follow them, just to give you an idea. That's why we rise in our colony to maximum amount of bees, maximum strength. Now another point, I using 2 brood boxes. The reason for that is 2 national brood boxes. Now what the national brood box contains? It contains 11 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 frames, brood frames. Say just for instance, the last frame is usually honey during the season. The second 2 frames usually packed with the pollen. There is a problem in some places. I have that problem, too much pollen coming in. and amount of brood doesn't consume that amount of pollen. So those two frames will be pollen. Those two frames will be pollen. There's a honey, this is honey. What we have left, we have 5 frames for the brood. It's definitely not enough. If the queen lays, say in average, 2,000 eggs a day, we have 21 days from egg, 21 days from egg to larva, to the adult bees gone hatch. So 21 days by 2,000, it's 40, say 20 days, it's 40,000. Roughly frame, brood frame contains roughly around 4,000 cells. It's an average, it's a little bit more, but say you'll have a bit of corners, honey corners, and you will have a bit of pollen. So it means it's 4,000, so it means it needs 10 full frames. That's what you need for the brood, at least. And if you not look at them properly, there'll be definitely some honey in that as well, so the queen won't have enough room during the season. So one brood box definitely not enough. If you have smaller amount of pollen and if you have problems with the pollen, it's a different story. So it might be, instead of 5 frames, you will have 7 frames of brood, but it's definitely still not enough. So I use a second brood box on top of first brood box. So today we're going to open those hives and see if they're ready for more expansion. By the look at them, I can tell one of them is probably not ready yet. The second one definitely is. But we have a problem now. The temperature, especially at nights, very low. It's up to frost. So what we're going to is different story how my rising colony when it's over 8 degrees at night time, but it's a lot lower. It's an average 3, 4, 5 degrees up to 0 sometime. So we're going to raise those colonies differently, and I try to explain how. So we're going to lift 4 frames of open brood into the second brood box and expand them with 2 more wax. So the second brood box will have 6 frames. The bottom one, we're putting 4 frames of wax into it. That's the way it's going to be. That's the 4th brood box. Frame number 1, existing frame. Then we're putting wax. Then couple of frames, existing frames. Then wax again. Then 2 more. Frame again, and then 2 more frame and wax again. How many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's what's going to be on first brood box. The second brood box, so we're lifting 4 frames from here into the second brood box. So that's 1 frame. That's another frame. Then we can put maybe 1 wax in the middle. We see depends on strength of the colony. That's the situation where we can put when we can put wax to split the brood even. There's no big, if it's strong colony, that's not a problem. Then another frame, and say maybe another frame of wax, and then most important, we're putting doomy board here for insulation. So doomy board keeps this unused area separate, and we're putting plastic on that part, and of course we're putting plastic on top as well. And then we have our feeder, and then we have insulation pillow to keep the feed always warm, and we have our empty super on the roof. That's what's going to happen. This is roughly, it could not be exactly the same, just to give you an idea what way this should work. Couple more tips. The way I'm showing you I raising the colony is the quickest way how you can raise the colony to the maximum strength to get your honey crop. I've seen few videos recently of the other beekeepers, and they showing that they have nice frame, nice patch of calf brood, and then surround of bit of nectar, and the rest of the frame is completely capped honey. Stores left from the winters, honey or syrup, doesn't matter. And they think the bees will rise and consume that old stores as they go, as they're rising. This doesn't work. If you have your colony sitting on 5 or 6 frames, came from out from the winter, and the rest of them is completely capped stores, you have to take all those stores away, use them somewhere else, put them behind the doomy, open the cappings and put it behind the doomy boards, but don't leave them in the hive. That backup doesn't help. It doesn't work as a stimulation. The best stimulation is nectar or syrup. Say nectar work 100%, syrup work 90%. But your stores work 15%, very same as they put in candy on top of the crown board. Candy is an emergency food. They only will consume candy if they starving, nothing to eat. Candy is not stimulation food. Stimulation is a liquid. Stimulation is either nectar or syrup with a bit of a mix of honey as well for more vitamins and all. So the way I rise in the colonies, I taken all winter stores away. I could leave 1 or maximum 2 frames. The rest of the frames I can open 1 frame, put behind the dummy board. If they want it, they'll take it. Only if they starve. If they don't want it, don't need it, they not take it. Again, if you have seams of bees and there's no more empty spaces for queen to lay and surround is honey, you have to push the bees to make to feed the queen and to make more eggs. So the way you're putting some empty foundation in here and here, push the bees to work harder. Otherwise they just take that space and they'll slowly go and rise. You have to push them by giving them foundation, so they have to work harder, build that foundation and feed the queen and make more larvae and eggs. So if you open your brood box and in the brood frames you will see fresh nectar, that means they have no space to store it. They just brought fresh nectar today or yesterday, and they just pouring that into the cells, which supposed to be for the queen to lay eggs, and that stops the queen. That's like a big anchor for your sheep or boat, and it stops it. It just stops the queen laying eggs. You're stopping your colony, you're making it worse. You have to give them space. Again, if you give them too much space, say you have a lot of frames which are not occupied, you're cooling down your nest, your cluster of bees, and again there will be a lot of slugs in it, so it'll be disease. And some beekeepers, while rising nukes, splitting the nuke with the wax in the middle and give them 11 frames straight away for 6 frames nuke, which straight away at the cold nights going to be chilled brood and will be diseased and everything. So that's not the right way to do it. Now, so we do a bit of practice now. So very quick look through our colonies. See what kind of development we have here. See, are they ready for more rising? Taking the doomy board out straight away. So what we're looking for is how many frames of brood, open and cap brood we have, what kind of stores we have, how much of a pollen we have. This frame is complete with fresh syrup, or fresh nectar, or whatever it is. I didn't give them much syrup, so it's, I presume it's honey. Second frame, half drawn. There's some stores here. Again, it's not finished yet. Third frame full of eggs and the larvae. No queen, not necessarily looking for a queen, because if there's presence of eggs, queen is there. Now this frame is, so this one open frame with the brood, open brood frame, cap brood. That's a nice cap brood frame, almost from wall to wall. That's 2 frames of brood we have. That's another frame of brood. Oh, there is a queen here. There's a baby. Brood is hatching out. So it's number 3. 3 frames of brood. Cap brood again, cap brood again. 4 frames of brood. Cap brood again, cap brood again. 5 frames of brood. Some of it capped, some of it, it's around is larvae, large size though. 6 frames of brood. This frame here, no, that's not eggs. Oh, it's actually larvae on this side, and it's not even completed yet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 7 frames of brood here, which 2 frames open and 5 frames closed brood, cap brood. That's the wax put recently, so it just, they just start work on it. So this one, this colony is not ready yet for expansion. Now that's what I was telling you before. We have 10-11 frames, so it's not ready for second brood box just yet. We're leaving that colony as is, just putting everything back on. Now the smoker, I only using smoke the way I won't be squashing the bees. So we'll have to leave this colony for another 4 or 5 days. Now we have a look at the second colony. This colony here is slightly stronger. We see how's this colony arrived. Oh. Last frame is full of bees. And there's some cap brood in here. And they don't have any more room, I think, because I can see another frames there. They working on it and it's almost finished. Drone wax almost finished. Have a look in a second, but this one is complete. There's no more room. This frame I think I was putting recently. Yeah, there's a queen actually is on it, and there's fresh eggs in here. On the other side as well. Have a look further. It's very same situation here. There's a nectar here. It's completely drawn. It's cap brood on this side. There's eggs on that side and larvae. So this colony is ready for expansion. You have to do it fairly quickly because first of all it's getting colder, and the second thing, bees are not feeling too well. We need to prepare. Second brood box. So this frame contains a bit of cap brood and eggs. We can put it here. So there's a queen on that frame. We'll leave the queen here. There's open brood and a bit of stores. Again, we put it here. Then we put an empty frame. So we put one wax in here, then two frames. This frame cap brood, cap brood. One frame. Hatched out cap brood. There's some hatching out on this side as well. There is a queen cell here, queen cup, but it's empty, nothing in it. It's okay, sometimes it happens, it's okay, don't mind that. As long as there's no eggs in the queen cell, you're fine, they're not going to swarm. So two frames, a frame of foundation. Cap brood, cap brood. Queen cell, no egg. It's fine. I want to leave maximum open brood. There's some actually eggs and open brood, so I put this frame in here too. It's frame number 3. So foundation, two frames, cap brood again. Another foundation. Brood and that and larvae on this side. Larvae 2-3 days old on that side. There's queen coop here again. There's no eggs in it. I hope you can see it, I don't know. So another frame goes in here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 4 frames we have lifted. into the second brood box. Again, one more foundation here, and job done. Now I put in one more foundation in here just at the end, just to have 6 frames altogether. So this frame here in the middle is foundation. Those two and those two are existing frame from there. Now I'm gonna put this brood box on top of the first one. Keep it tight to one side. And in here I'm putting plastic. Just like that. Try to not squash many bees. This dummy board for some reason too high. So that's what happened. I'm not putting plastic the whole way up over the first brood box, just up to here, and then is the dummy board. So this space here is not heated. The bees are only able to heat this and the bottom brood box. And again, I'm going to put the plastic on top. Just move it slightly. Feeder in here. And again, empty super and insulation pillow. Job done. So I only gave them 5 frames, new frames, 4 frames in the first brood box and 1 frame in the second brood box. This area here only is heated, and this space here, which they not need yet, just yet, is not heated. They're given cold for tonight again, so they're able to heat the brood. The brood won't get chilled. If I put the whole 11 frames to the second brood box, if there is cold at night, they're going to leave the brood, because they're not able to, amount of bees not able to heat the brood they have in there, and some of the brood going to be chilled and die, and that gives you trouble. So that's the way I expanding at this type of the weather. If it's over 8 or 10 degrees at night, you no need to do all these preparations. You can go straight with the whole brood box and expand them differently. So that is it for today, and hope you enjoyed, and see you in next while. Bye for